Previously on Ballz.
Introduce our special guest who has arrived here this afternoon. None other than Kevin Pietersen. KP is here at Ballz Visual Radio this afternoon. Look forward to having a chat with him in the next 45 minutes. 50 minutes. Right now, here is Liberty X on Ballz and Mix.
Lovely introduction, thank you, Darren.
I thought it would be appropriate. We've also got more Liberty X songs coming up.
Right, I'm out of here.
Did you actually like Liberty X before you met Jess?
I did, yeah.
Is it?
Well, that song, I love it now. I liked it, and I have to love it.
You have to love it now.
Yeah, no, they've actually just done a reunion, and they sold out all the arenas around the UK. I went and watched them at the O2. They sold the O2 out. Them, Blue, Bewitched. I mean, about 6 of the bands that were really popular about 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Okay. Incredible show, real good.
Blue, the boy band.
The boy band, yeah.
They all went solo, and like guys like Simon Webb and those guys.
Absolutely, now they come back together again. So.
All right, cool.
Really good, real good show.
All right.
Remember Bewitched?
Yeah, Bewitched.
They were quite hot.
Yeah, Bewitched. The Honeys, Atomic Kitten.
Solid Harmony. Please tell me they're not getting back together.
No. The Five.
Are they back together again?
Get up, singing. That started the show. I was right out of my seat.
It'd be, all 5 of them, obviously. It'd be awkward now.
No, it's not. It's actually 4. Yeah,
4 of them.
Yeah, they don't dig the one geezer on it, so they
didn't change the name though.
No, they didn't. Can't change your name.
And of course, you were with Graham last night. Graham Smith.
Was I?
I don't know. Well, it's all over.
It's all a bit of a blur to me.
Check your Twitter feed.
I know, yeah.
And Doug Worth got hold of you, I heard.
Well, man, when you get offered a tequila at 7 o'clock, you know, and you've had a business lunch, which is just finger food at lunchtime, you're going to struggle.
Especially with Doug Worth, he can put it back, that man.
Goodness, yeah, he knows that. He's a professional.
He is a professional drinker.
I think he woke up this morning at Castle on his cornflakes.
I must admit, when I heard what you were busy with last night in Cape Town and who you were going to be catching up with, I was kind of a little worried. We had a plan B to see if you'd actually make it here today on time, but we,
very professional.
Absolutely, I mean, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Anytime.
What was it? One more thing about the music. Oh yeah, because you were with Graham last night. He also married into the Irish music industry.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. They were saying she's got a really good voice.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I mean, it was the first time I met his better half last night. And, we had real good fun. It was fantastic. Really good. All my mates from Cape Town. Some guys from retail. We just had a little bit of a get together. It was fun.
We're going to talk retail, and if you are watching us on balls.co.za right now, you'll see that we are. Well, I'm actually dressed trendy for the first time in my entire life on radio. We've
from the waist up. Below, it's still a disaster.
We've spoken about you talking about below the waist again with me, Simon, because we are wearing Nina and Pasadena stuff. Now, if you've been watching Twitter and I was talking about Kevin being here in studio with us, you would have noticed that we've also been tweeting about Nina and Pasadena. Their Twitter handle is at Nina Pasadena UK. And we'll find out more about that because that's why you're here, right?
Yeah. I got you on Tuesday morning and flying back to London because I got a dinner in London tomorrow night, and then I got to come back here next week for my brother's wedding. So
is it?
It's all systems go at the moment.
Oh, awesome! We'll chat a bit about that as well. KP's the only one who's he's looking very trendy, but he has to. This is part of his contract. He's got to wear the Khalix suit because he is our cricket guy in a suit every week. So
I was in the suit anyway today, Darren. So,
were you?
Yeah, so I thought I'd just leave it on for you.
Did you get the job?
I did.
Oh, well done. All right, we haven't given a PGA clap for Kevin Pietersen yet. Awesome to have you here. Thanks a lot for coming to visit us and making us feel special. We're looking forward to the next hour chat about anything we mustn't talk about.
My phone is not allowed to text anymore, so I reckon we leave that saga because it wasn't me.
Yes, it wasn't. It wasn't me. It's a hacker.
Mate, we do what we need to. We just have some fun.
And
then we just do what we need to do.
I've got your phone next to me though, so be careful. Suddenly start phoning people off your phone list. Maybe we'll do that a little later.
There must be some awesome numbers on that phone.
I can imagine what numbers are on that phone.
Yes.
Anyway, so when he does duck out for a quick leak, we'll just quickly make a few phone calls.
I'll give you mine as well, to Kevin, if you want to add. I'll give you a missed call.
Must be fun on his phone after you've had a few drinks, eh? Because mine's a fun finder, even though I haven't got anyone on it. Imagine if you had his phone when you had a few drinks. Jeepers. Get home at 3 in the morning, I'll be finding everybody.
Oh, my goodness. 2 things in life: never give your address to Reader's Digest and never give John Walland your number.
Yeah, I've heard about this. What's this thing about me and numbers? And I mean,
Give
where's
it
the game?
I'll tell you what, give it a try.
Yeah.
And then in a week's time, change your number.
Yes.
Darren kept sending me direct messages. Do not give John
Are you
your
serious?
number. Never give him your number.
Kev, I hope you didn't block me because I tried to retweet you last night and it didn't. It went onto somebody else's name.
Oh, did it?
Yes, I haven't been blocked, have I?
You've been blocked. Johnny, you've been
Oh,
blocked.
no.
Oh, thanks, Kev. If
No,
you
no,
put me back on, I'd be grateful.
Mate, if I blocked everyone, I'd block in about 1 million people.
I can imagine.
The abuse I get on Twitter.
Yeah. What is your following now? 1
Not
point.
as much as him.
Piers Morgan.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's got a lot, isn't he?
You're a fan?
gets
He gets a lot of abuse as well.
he's a good mate of mine. He's a great guy.
I was going to ask you about that maybe a bit later on. Is
he tweets a lot about you.
yeah, obviously, so you guys are good mates.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's a really, really sound guy. Lovely, lovely man.
He's a clever guy. Jeepers. I watched his show now.
For a Brit to go and take
on
over
CNN,
the
it's
show that he
unbelievable.
went and took
Yeah,
over.
in the
Quality.
States.
To do as well as he's
yeah.
done.
He's switched on. It's an unbelievably good show.
No, he's
Well, for a
super
Brit to go to the States
And do
and
that.
do a show like
He
that, and
cops
then
abuse, though.
and then pick up on gun control and with
absolutely.
those nutcase Americans there, gee, he's a brave man. I see some of the comments he gets after some of his tweets.
Oh, and all he does is
That's-
corrects their spelling and he just murders them.
He's got such a dry sense of humour. It's brilliant.
Where does Fig Jam come from?
Who's that?
I don't know. Every now and again he hashtags Fig Jam when he talks about, is it you?
I think so.
I know
Yeah, well,
I
that's the
know
thing.
what
We
it stands
just
for, but you can't
No,
say
Darren,
the
you
name.
No, I
baiting. You
think
don't know
it's-
Fig Jam.
You don't know Fig Jam.
Ah, you do
You
know.
do, you do,
I don't know
you do.
what I don't know what Fig Jam is.
Kevin, you tell him.
This is what there's big kids watching, won't there? So
Yeah. All right, or maybe for our FM partners, we'll maybe just bypass that one. You can tell us off the air and you can find a nice way of actually explaining that one. Sorry, how many followers you got now? 1.3 or something?
Goodness, yeah, 1.35, I think. No, yeah.
And Twitter for you is still a good thing.
I think so. I think the best thing is you're able to get your point of view, and if there's something incorrect that's out there, and I think you can associate yourself with your followers as well. And look, you see the good stuff, you see the bad stuff, and I just laugh at it now. We were talking about it last night actually because I had my business partners in from Australia, and we were talking about how we were going to do the social feeds through South Africa for Nina and stuff when we launch in February, and yeah, they were just saying, oh, and then they checked my Twitter feed, and you just see, I took a picture with Graham last night and sent that, and his missus sent a picture, and the abuse that we got from it, and they, how do you deal with it? I just laugh at it now. It's, I mean, it's so funny. I had an experience last year where I had this guy hammered me. I ended up meeting him. He's the first bloke who wanted to shake my hand and say hello and get an autograph, and I just like, it's just weird. Keyboard gangsters they're hilarious.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same with probably a lot of fans where they've and Twitter's almost become that invisible screen they can hide behind. It's a lot
absolutely.
like the media. And just don't make them say we're not the media here.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
There's no journalists in this place. We're a bunch of guys having fun doing radio.
Correct.
But it's the same with the media sometimes. I think where it's easy to say what you want when you're sitting behind a computer and you're not face to face with the person.
Absolutely.
And you must have met a couple of guys, journalists and stuff, who have kind of shown a completely, when they're face to face with you, a totally different demeanor to what they write.
It's human nature, isn't it? I mean, we all do it. Every single one of them. None of us can sit here and say, "Oh no, I've never ever slagged somebody off behind their back." And I mean, we've all done it, and it's just a case of human nature, doing whatever you need to do to get by, and that's it, really. Yeah.
But like you say, I think it's learning just to deal with it.
Absolutely.
And water off a duck's back, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you move on.
Oh, you have to. I mean, goodness, I'd have been off Twitter. I mean, yeah, I've had some, but the thing in South Africa that really amuses me is how easily wound up guys get.
Yeah.
I mean, I purely just do it for value. I mean, I tweeted you about the rugby.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
Did you catch it?
oh, catch it, brother. That's the one thing I'm not doing today is hammering what's his name, Bismarck, because I want to get back to London this evening. And
It's not a good person to hammer, really.
no.
No, leave him alone.
So
So let's talk about that. Do you, when, like, first of all, when the Springboks play a test, do
Yeah.
you, apart from when they're playing England, do you back the box?
absolutely. No, I love Southern Hemisphere rugby. I mean, I don't really watch the internationals, but I mean, I love the Super 15, and I love the Sharks. I grew up with the Sharks, watching the Sharks, and
We'll give him
they
an
my
extra
side.
10 minutes on the air for that.
Yep.
Are you allowed to? Are you allowed to suppose support the Box still? 'Cause it's a different sport.
Of course he can.
I suppose.
course I
So,
can,
if
yeah.
no, but I mean, if they played against England,
I can support or want to
and if
support.
they played against England, do you still support?
I don't really watch
Box?
international rugby.
Not, but if you had to,
But I really, really like this Southern Conference, or what are they playing at the moment? It's
Super
World
Rugby.
Yeah, no, this.
No,
the
the
Castle
championship.
yeah, where you're
Championship.
playing against Australia and South Africa, that sort of Tri Nations, the extension of a Tri Nations. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I was going to ask you one thing. I'll tell you what. First of all, let me just find out from you. What kind of music do you listen to?
Oh, I'm really sad. I just like sing-alongs.
Sing-alongs.
Yeah, I was a Westlife fan. I mean, I just love sing-alongs.
You lost those 10 minutes we gave you.
Add an extra 10 as well.
They're absolute beauties.
You'll be at your next destination by past. I don't think this computer's allowed to actually put Westlife in here. Let's try it anyway. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, with Jess, just going back to your fam, you got a little boy now, a 3-year-old.
Yeah, Dylan.
Yeah. How's he doing? All
He's
right.
a little ripper.
3 years old.
Absolutely.
Oh, quality, man. That's great.
Same as yours.
My boy, just under 3, yeah.
We said we're not going to talk about your boy on the show.
Again.
Okay, so we've all got little boys in the same region then.
What?
No?
Never mind.
I was just warning you about him. He'll come out of left field with something, I promise you.
Never mind.
Now, how did you meet Jess? So did you know about Liberty X beforehand?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're one of the
You see, now hold on a
longest-
second. You say,
Yes.
of course, as though it's like, maybe it's because it's just a South African thing, but if you walked around knowing girl or boy bands in South Africa as a sort of a red-blooded oak, all right, you don't normally sort of say, no, yes, I do know them and I like their
Yeah, but you
music.
guys are
and stuff.
hiding something, man.
Of course we do. We've all got their CDs.
Metrosexuals are the way forward. You got to get yourself out there.
We've all got their CDs.
Exactly. No, I met her through a manager. I knew her manager, and it just and I knew a few of her mates, and she was single, I was single, and just one thing led to another. We ended
There it
up
is.
on a date, and yeah, we're pretty solid, and our little boy's an absolute little ripper.
Cool.
There's nothing better than that. Sport, not interested in sport. If
Not?
it's got anything to do with my little boy.
Oh, really, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. But you'll just let him do what he wants to do, though.
No pressure at all. No pressure at all.
Okay, and how does he speak? In a...
Oh, he's a proper pom.
Is he?
Is he a twang?
Yeah. Oh, he's
Oh,
proper
no, really?
pom.
Because
He's a ripper.
we had...
Like
was it-
Toddy.
Hey?
Exactly like Trotty.
Yeah, like Trotter, yeah.
Because we had Johan Crick on the show yesterday. We spoke to... Who was the other one from overseas that we had? Cliff Drysdale.
Cliff Drysdale, yeah.
South African tennis oak from way back. Who does commentary on ESPN. Sounds like a boy from... I think he's from Nelspruit, actually, but he sounds like a South African 43 years later.
Goodness.
Johan Crick's got this American drawl, but he had it when, I think, 6 months after he moved there. So we kind of have a little bit of fun, sort of the South African expats. And
It just
you
just depends on who you hang out with. I mean, if I'm hanging out with a lot of English, then my accent definitely sort of molds in or blends in. And then actually, Jimmy Anderson said to me, when was it? And during the Ash, he said, "You're sounding really South African at the moment." And I said, "Oh, I'm spending so much time with Trot. You know, we'd been out a couple of times for dinners and hung out and stuff. And I think once you're in, like when I'm in South Africa now, I've probably got a real strong South African accent.
No, you still sound.
Yeah, he still
there's
sounds
a
a bit.
there's a bit
There's
of
a lilt. There's
a
a
lilt.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot.
yeah.
I've done 13 years. This is my 13th year in the UK.
Is it 13 years now?
13 years.
Oh my goodness.
Do you consider yourself? I don't know. It's maybe a random question, but do you consider yourself as a South African now, or as a pom?
No, I'm English. I play for England. I'm English.
Yeah, but you still got massive ties to South Africa.
I absolutely love South Africa. These people that think that I don't like South Africa because I wind them up on Twitter and stuff, and I've said some things which I probably shouldn't have said when I was a youngster trying to make my way in that. Mate, I love South Africa. It's what's there not to love about South Africa? Been in Cape Town yesterday, driving around, showing my business partners from Australia the Llandudno, Camps Bay, Clifton area, driving across the city, and then telling them, we're looking in this magazine, what's it, the Sauerborner magazine or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Showing them the safaris and stuff we're going to go on in February when we launch the products and stuff. It's an absolutely beautiful country. And it's a cheap holiday for us blokes with pounds.
Especially at the moment.
It's incredibly cheap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it
when
is.
you retire, you reckon you'll settle here or stay in the UK?
No, I'm UK. Yeah.
You still stay in the UK, you reckon, eh?
Just for education and bringing my kids up and all that kind of stuff.
That's
I
a fair
definitely stay. And my wife won't leave the UK. She won't. She
No,
won't
it's
come here.
13 years. It's a long time. Big chunk out of your life.
And the happy wife is a?
Happy wife
Happy life.
is a. Help me with this one, please, Harrow. I need it now.
You do need it. You're
Especially
guilty
next
at the
week,
moment.
I need it, yeah. All right. I was going to get onto music.
Yeah.
Throw out some band names or artists that you love.
Just do it.
You know,
Well, no,
why
Westlife.
don't you go? Why don't you go Justin Timberlake? That new song,
Mirrors.
Holy Grail. Holy
Yeah,
Grail with is that Timberlake and Can?
You've got to understand, this is South Africa, so we used to get some music 6 months late. Yeah.
Try Holy Grail. I think
do
it's
the month late
Justin
now.
Timberlake.
Okay, let me search
You're
and
asking the
find.
wrong guy.
Jay-Z.
Okay.
Jay-Z and Timberlake, I think. Holy Grail.
All right, we'll
Try
see if we
that
can
out.
find some.
Or
Nah.
Mirrors, Justin Timberlake.
I've got that here.
That works.
All right, we might have the other one as
He's
well.
not
I'm
bad.
just
He's
haven't
actually-
used this
he
stuff
can
for a
sing.
while.
No,
He's
he knows
good.
what he's doing.
good,
I've
yeah.
seen him in
He's really
concerts
good.
in London. Wow.
I don't mind him.
That boy can
He's better than
dance.
Westlife. He's a few notches above Westlife, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and better than In Sync as well, by the way. I
Yes,
think it's a good thing by leaving them. All right, some Justin Timberlake on the way here on Ballz Visual Radio. Ballz Visual Radio and Mix 93.8 FM with Justin Timberlake, Mirrors. We actually did find the Jay-Z song as well with Justin Timberlake, so
Beautiful.
that's coming up. And we also found some Westlife. Is that new Westlife or what?
Can't be new Westlife.
Are they done and dusted?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, well, it's recent Westlife. Yeah, I'm incredibly happy about that. All right, Kevin Pietersen in studio with us this afternoon. Come to visit us here at Ballz Visual Radio and Mix 93.8 FM. Really appreciative of that because you don't do a lot of media,
No, I don't do media anymore. no.
apart from obviously when you have to through contract.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Contract. If I'm contractually bound to do media, I'll do it. But no, I don't do media anymore. No, I've unfortunately been stung too many times, and my days with journalists I've done.
Is it?
Especially in the UK. I mean, they're quite hectic.
Mate,
They're
anywhere,
sheepish.
anywhere. They're
They've been bad everywhere with you.
Yeah, yeah, well, no, I suppose I haven't been there, but I've experienced a couple of things in the last few years which have just really turned me off. And I just think I think people are only interested in the runs I score, and that's all I want to do. I just want to smash as many runs as possible, win with England, and play for as long as I can, and just take all the other stresses out because it just puts too much stress. I mean, the nonsense
couldn't
last
agree
year
more.
and the captaincy stuff and all that, it just puts too much. I mean, look how grey I am. I mean, goodness, I'm 33 years of age.
Let's get some streaks in there.
George Clooney and the likes have been mentioned, which I find
Yeah.
very flattering.
I saw that on
Don't
Twitter
believe
the
it
other
for a
day.
second. But no, there's too much stress involved with all that nonsense. So I've decided to just basically lay right off it. And if I score runs, I'll talk to the journalists about the innings and about the test match. Other than that, the only stuff I'll be doing is fashion and that with Nina.
Okay, well, we'll chat about that also when we talk about the
So you're lucky I'm here.
cricketing.
So there's no journalists in here.
No, please believe me, there
John,
aren't.
except for John.
No,
Johnny
Johnny
none
tries.
others. Only John.
No, I'm not, Kev.
Sorry, now you admit you're not a journalist.
Well-
Jeez. Well, thank God that you got this involved with this range as well. Otherwise, we might not have seen you. But I mean, all seriousness though, because with more exposure and things like Twitter and just the way technology's exploded from an information point of view,
Yeah.
the more exposure, the more the more you're under the spotlight, the more you're under the microscope. And the thing is that you are probably the epitome of a cricketing rock star. In I think in cricketing terms, you think about it. Now, both of them had the same thing back when he was playing.
Yeah.
And I can't really think of anyone at the moment that sort of fits that mold. And obviously these guys are going to be looking for that stuff where you put yourself out there on other levels. People that understand you will obviously know what you're about.
Absolutely.
Whereas they don't. They pick
Yeah.
it up out of little bits and pieces and build
Yeah,
a
but
story.
but remember, a bad headline is what people want to see. So it doesn't matter. And I think the key to me making this decision of not doing this is because, look, I can sit with a journalist, I can talk to them, and they can write the paragraph that leads into the questions that they've asked me. They can say anything they like. So mate, it's just better that I do radio. So I'll do live radio stations like this. I'll do Darren Goff next week.
Okay.
I'll do live television, and then no, I can't do the
Yeah.
other stuff, man, because they'll just spin everything I say. And then I've got to then the day after I've got to go and try and fight another PR battle, which I've got no interest in.
Absolutely.
Costs money.
You're paying PR people lots of money. I actually heard at the time when you did just before the Ashes, your last interview with Darren.
Yeah.
That's one area where he definitely come out as a South African, but only because he's got such a broad Yorkshire accent.
He's an absolutely beautiful human, that bloke.
He sounds like he's
him.
unbelievable. I've never met the guy, but he sounds like a lot of fun.
He is an absolute beauty. Goodness, he's a great man.
You can go and check that out if you go to the Talk Sport website.
Yep.
I think it might still be up there anyway. So Really good interview that was as well.
That is your sport here on Ballz Visual Radio and Mix 93.8 FM. We'll have more for you a little later.
No happy Chelsea story for KP this week?
I'll find one for him.
There are not many around at the moment.
Jeez, I saw that result.
That was shocking.
Poor.
Yes.
1-0 up against Basel and they lose 2-1. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Don't you think they should get that French ref back? Just, once you fall off the horse, get him back on. They should just do the return leg here in South Africa.
Well,
No.
we've already got another French ref
Yeah,
for the
for the
Aussie
Aussie
game.
game.
Get him here for it.
And he was the same ref
return New Zealand leg.
that refereed the Brumbies game against the British and Irish Lions when the Brumbies won.
The sad thing is he's got less experience than
Yes.
what?
Correct.
And I don't know how the IRB do that, but then again, it's the IRB.
I'm not sure he's coming on holiday anytime soon.
What?
No.
But do you reckon that was because I was watching it? I mean, I watched the first
There
half
we go.
before I warmed up in Cardiff the other day. Do you think that it was his fault that he the Bismarck tackle? Or do you think that's TMO? Do you think the TMO should have said, "Listen, brother, that's not a dangerous tackle, yellow, and take the yellow card away"? Or was it the referee's fault?
Look, I personally, and we've debated this with various people over the course of this week, I personally blame the referee. And the reason why, they've been given the option of looking at the big screen from the field.
Okay.
And
I thought he did that. Did he not do that?
He did, but not for that. He said, I don't want to see the tackle, I'm happy with it. Let me see what happened afterwards when they had
okay,
that
gotcha.
handbags at 10 paces stuff that was going on, which was nothing. There was nothing going on there.
Yep.
But then while they're watching that, they played the tackle as well. And
Yeah, I
as
saw
a
that
stuff.
actually. That's why I thought he did it.
So this, let me not call him an idiot. This idiot standing on the field for 2 replays is watching it.
Right,
but
okay.
again, and it's probably the same with, well, umpires can change their calls now because of the way the challenges go. That's in cricket. But in soccer, you never see a ref change his mind.
Yeah.
What is wrong with the rugby referee standing there going, I've just seen the replay, I'm turning my decision around, it was a fair tackle. You won't do it.
Yeah,
It's like
okay.
a protected group
Like
of
ego.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there I do blame him because he's standing there looking at it and he sees he's wrong and he still doesn't change it.
Got you.
So,
Okay.
and in the context of a game, I mean, you'll understand from a cricketing point of view as well. You get a dodgy decision, and the guy goes and says, "I just want to see if he caught it fairly."
Yeah.
And then on the replay, they show you got no edge. I think you got one of those in the Ashes anyway.
I did, yeah.
And they don't change it because he never called for that. I think that's ridiculous.
Or the reverse of it, if there's an appeal for a nick and they see that it's RBW, and they can give it out RBW. It's
Absolutely.
still out.
Yeah.
So
Or if
why
it's
not-
hitting, if it's hitting the stumps and it's umpire's call,
It makes-
I mean,
also
if the
makes
decision's not out, you're not out.
not out, exactly.
It's
So
weird.
they should
They had
do
one
it.
of those in the
It
Ashes
is
as well, I
weird.
think.
Mate,
There were plenty.
DRS
There were
in-
quite a
in
few
this
in
last
the
Ashes
Ashes.
was
It was hectic.
was interesting.
It was hectic.
Are you happy that they've extended? Look, I love DRS. I think it's got to stay. Are you happy? First of all, do you like DRS? And second of all, if it's used properly, which it hasn't been lately. And secondly, are you happy about the fact that they're going to extend it now to another 2 options after 80 overs in tests?
What they,
They're going to do that, yeah. So
Yeah, yes.
after when the new ball comes,
Yeah.
after 80 hours, you get another 2. So
get
if
another
you use
2.
your 2, you get 2 more after
are you serious?
Yeah.
for the second new ball, yeah.
So you basically got to use them
You're
before
gonna use them
before
before
80,
the
and
80.
then you can just go
You can get
again
another
with a
2.
new ball.
Yeah.
2
Wow.
with the new ball.
No, I do like the DRS because I think it gets all the decisions right. I know that DRS had a bit of an issue, but Hotspot was actually the one that had a little bit of an issue in the Ashes series. Which, when in Ashes series, you can't really mess things up because the hype in that series is major, and we'll see that now. I mean, we're back off to Australia in 5 weeks' time, so. I think the only issue was Hotspot, but in terms of DRS, I really like it because, man, I hate fielding. So anything to reverse a decision and get me off the field. But if you catch like me, you don't like fielding.
Do you not think it would be better to say that if it's hitting the stumps, it's out? I know you're a batsman.
No.
I know you're a batsman, surely. Because if you miss the ball when you're batting and you get bowled, if it clips the top of the
But
stumps,
even if
you're
it
out.
pitches outside leg or what?
No, I'm saying, no, obviously if it pitches in line, everything's in line, but it's clipping the stumps.
It's
with the
margin of
umpire's
error.
call.
It's not 100% science.
Okay, but let's
No,
say, for
man,
example,
no.
let's say, for example, you miss the ball,
Yeah.
and it just clips leg stump, and
Yeah.
you're bowled,
Yeah.
you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why not? There's 3 stumps in the ground.
Yeah, but it is. If the umpire says it's out and it sticks with the
Even if he
umpire's
says it's
call,
not out, would not clear up a lot of.
brother,
No, but
we want 5-day
You
test
said-
matches.
you said you want to get off the
2-day
field
test
quickly.
matches.
I've got my
Yeah,
bowler's cap on
but
you.
I'm a batter.
I've got my bowler's
So
cap
I don't
on
want
you.
you to knock me on my pad and then, no, thank you.
Notice how Harrow's angling at the leg stump decision. Eh? Is that
He's
what
knocked
you
me
said?
over. He's knocked me over a few times.
But you did hit me a couple of times as well. Let's be honest. You did score a few runs against me as well. I'm not going to take
Everyone
the credit,
scored a
all
few
the
runs
credit.
against you,
Thank
yeah.
you for that.
He's a left-arm spinner. We all know about left-arm spinners.
And we're not going to use the term "who's turned one more" either, Harrow. Okay.
What?
Nothing.
Again?
We'll move on.
Use it again.
And no, we
Your
won't.
favourite
We won't.
joke. It's your only joke.
Ashes coming up as well. That Ashes series. How did you feel after? Well, first of all, before that whole was it silicon issue?
Yeah.
Oh, the
Where
bat,
the hell
yeah.
did that come from?
You know what? I don't even know. I don't know. I know I've just won a legal case against a company who called me a cheat. I just found out this morning that I've won the legal case and they're going to apologise and stuff. So, yeah. I mean, listen, I play cricket hard, but I play cricket fair, and people have put in silicon, not silicon, but what do they call the bat tapes, the fiberglass tape. I mean, they've been putting this stuff on their bats
For
for
ages.
I don't know how long.
It's bad tape. And
So where this dude came up, I think it was the guy under pressure. The hotspot guy was a little bit under pressure, and I think he just said, "Oh, maybe this could be an issue with it." So it didn't really make any do any damage at all. It was just one of those where you just had to just say, "Listen, we're not doing anything illegal here," and I mean, all of us fiberglass our bats because we like to look after our number ones.
It's quite a stupid comment because an inside edge could save you.
Well, that's exactly what I tweeted straight away because I woke up in the morning
could save you.
in a hotel and I went to some place I just wanted to go and get a spa for a day in between the third and fourth test, and I woke up and I saw my Twitter feed and it was the 6 o'clock news in Sydney, and I woke up at around 8, 9 in the morning, and goodness, my Twitter feed just flew. Australians hammering me, cheat. I'm going, what has happened here? So I had a look at it, and yeah, I looked and I saw the report, and I was like, goodness, no, you cannot now start saying that I'm cheating. So I had to defend myself that way, and I said, listen, why would I want to put something on my bat that, just like Harrow's just said, yeah, if I nick it, I don't want the nick, because if it hits my pad, I want to be saved, right?
Yeah.
So then people are saying, yeah, but you fiberglass or you silicon the one side of your tape. I'm going, no, I can nick it on both sides of my bat onto my pad. So it was silly, but it was one of those little things that blow up in the middle of an Ashes, and there'll be something else now this series.
And again, I think we go back to our earlier comment, because it's you, the chances are they're going to target you more than maybe one or two other guys.
Yeah, but why was I the one who had to nick it?
Yeah.
Why couldn't it have been somebody else? It always is. It's annoying. The hassle.
Was it like water off a duck's back for you, though? You don't worry about those kind of things. You're strong and you can handle all kinds of pressure situations, I'm sure.
Mate, somebody telling me that I tape my bat is absolutely nothing compared to some of the stuff that we've been through.
Yeah.
So, no, there's no issues.
How did you feel about that Ashes series? Because, I mean, there have been some absolute crackers over the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
For me, just watching that, it's almost like, you know, with the exception of one or two guys, it just didn't seem to get going for some players. Is that how you felt?
You know, the bowlers bowled brilliantly in that series. And I think it's going to be a bowler series again. Whoever bats well in Australia is going to probably win the Ashes in Australia. They're a very, very, very good cricket team. And we all know that whenever you play against Australia in any sport, they're going to come at you. And their bowling attack is brilliant. They've got a fantastic bowling attack. We saw Mitchell Johnson bowling in the one-dayers now as well. And he was bowling some thunderbolts. So he'll come back into the reckoning too.
Should be, definitely.
Yeah, so it's going to be a series for the bowlers, and whoever bats well is going to win the Ashes.
All right.
Remember how instrumental old Mitchell Johnson was when you guys played there, Harold, in 2008?
Yeah.
It's the only team he's played well against, to be fair, is us, and he played really well against us. I mean,
Well, he knocked us over in Perth.
Did he?
I mean, he got 5 for 20 and turned the test match on its head.
got 8 for 12 against us in Perth as well.
Yeah,
Well,
likes
unbelievable.
Perth. Yeah,
He's quicker. He was quick there. I mean, that wicket suits him.
absolutely.
Less more now. It's getting a bit slower.
Yeah.
But I see they've taken the test match away from them. So
No,
Where,
they haven't-
Perth?
no, there's no Perth test.
There's no
First
Perth
time
test.
ever in an
First
Ashes.
time ever in Ashes. There's no
Yeah.
Perth test match anymore.
Since it's
Excuse me?
existed.
No, it's not there anymore.
So what? We don't have a Perth test match?
No.
Nah.
Yes.
You must
yes,
come
we
hang
do.
out with us a bit more.
It's been taken away. It was in the press this week.
Yeah.
They've taken the test match away from Perth.
You
So
want? You
No,
want?
no, there's no wind up.
dead
I
serious.
promise you, there's no wind up.
Please get me that on the.
Yeah, Simon will find it on.
Where's it gone?
I saw it on Cricinfo, I think it was. I don't know where the test has gone, but I just know they're taking it away from them.
It's 5. So obviously Melbourne, Sydney.
You start in Brisbane, so you got Brisbane, and then
Brisbane.
we've got a 2-day game in Ayers Rock, and then we've got the Adelaide's the second test match. The whack.
There you go.
You might be going to Tassie. You probably will be going because that's the only other test venue, isn't it?
Okay, so
Okay,
there will be
Kevin's-
4 tests played. Okay, wait. No, hold on.
Kevin's just perusing the web.
Unless it was after.
Oh, that's against India, hold on.
Unless it was after the series.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Unless it was after the series. It could be after this.
No, the Ashes, there will
Ashes.
definitely be a Perth test match.
Because they said after this. Maybe it was after the Ashes.
Man,
It's
I've seen all the accommodation, I've seen all the bookings, I've seen
So you're
because
going
that's
to
where the
Perth.
families turn up on the 12th of December. So we will definitely be in Perth.
Okay, well, it must be the next one.
It's
They
the
are
India
drop-
series.
Oh, the India
Must be
series.
the next
No
one.
Perth test.
Yeah.
Okay.
Corrected.
sorry to do that to you.
I was loving it. I don't want to go bad in Perth. I don't want any thunderbolts on the fastest wicket in the world.
Is that wiki?
Got a Hobart rather.
I have to
It's
ask.
too cold down there.
Stay away from the nets there. We've had guys injured there every time we've gone there.
I have to ask KP. I've got this this picture. It's the Aussie guys having a fat laugh at you as you. Obviously, they've got you out, and the whole team's basically shouting and laughing at you. What kind of things were they saying?
I think
Do you
you
remember
can just clearly see they're laughing.
Yeah.
I don't think they're
I
saying
think Fig
anything.
Jam
They're
might
just-
have been in there again.
No, that was the referral as well. There was actually quite a bit of fun banter between both teams because of what Hotspot was doing. So it was quite funny. Like Watson reviewed quite a few, Pup reviewed a few, Warner reviewed a few, Kawaja reviewed a few. So every single time you review, I mean, the huddle that is Australia or the huddle that is England, I mean, when the guy's going to communicate, use it. So I mean, it was just funny there, and I mean, I came off second there, and mate, what can you do? You've got 11 blokes hammering you, laughing at you. What am I supposed to do? Turn around,
Walk away.
walk away.
Did you guys give Warner a hard time?
The crowd did.
Yes.
We don't. He's a very good cricketer. Everybody knows that he's a very talented sportsman. So no, listen, the crowd give it, and I think on the 25th of October we know exactly what's coming our way when we land in Perth.
What do you say, Harry? You can say it.
I definitely would have.
Yeah, we know you
No
would
doubt
have.
about it.
Down there
But I
from-
play with him at Delhi Daredevils, so he's a teammate of mine. So
I want to ask you that, the IPL, because suddenly this is a scenario where you see like adversaries suddenly playing in the same team together. That's the way it can happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had, I think it was Graham playing with Shane Warne, and we know they had
Yep.
their issues sometime
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
And you know, I used to actually watch some when they used to cut to the dugout and just see the interaction. And you see Graham and Shane sitting next to each other.
Absolutely.
So a lot of the stuff we actually read about as well. Some of it exists, but within the cricketing bubble. There seems to be a much mutual respect, and I think the IPL has also probably contributed a lot to that as well, with players mixing and matching.
A hell of a lot. And what also contributes to that is county cricket, where the internationals go across. I mean, Graham Smith, I mean, myself and Graham have had our issues. And I mean, last night we were together, and we had an absolutely incredible night. And I can tell whoever's listening that Smith, Callis, the boys, they are in incredible shape at the moment. Goodness me, they've trained really hard, and man, they're in great shape. And I saw a Biff tweet just now about the fact that he's passed his fitness test, so that's good for you guys. But no, the county cricket's helped him in the Surrey dressing room, me becoming friendly with him in London, and then in terms of the IPL, being connected to and learning from other superstars. I mean, goodness, to pick guys' brains, the Mahela Jai Wardeners, to play with the Warnes, to play with the Kumblays, the Dravids, Tendulkars. I mean, goodness, for youngsters to turn up and play with these guys, and even for me, I love to learn from the greats, and it's a fascinating experience.
It's exposing some guys as well to the national setup as well, because India in particular have found some explosive batsmen through the IPL. That Dhawan guy, he's scary.
Beautiful. Yeah,
He's
he's a great
scary.
cricketer.
Yeah.
He's a great cricketer.
And guys like Ojar, and I mean, the system really works in terms of finding new talent. The way they do it.
Jadeja, Raina, I mean, these guys are superstars in the IPL. And that one-day side that India are producing at the moment,
Scary
man, how good is their fielding? And who ever thought that India would probably be one of the best fielding teams in the world?
Yeah.
And that team there, Duncan Fletcher and Trevor Penny, have done a great job on those guys.
You talk about the. I want to go back, and you mentioned it earlier on before we talk about the business side of KP. And there's more than just Nina and Pasadena as well. I would imagine there's also a big charity side to you as well. But I want to go back to your, because I remember when you went and you started playing county cricket. I think it was
2000.
4 or 5 years before you qualified and then got into the England setup.
Yeah.
But obviously we knew we'd lost you. I wonder, in that early period, did anyone from this country basically realize they'd cocked up and try and contact you to stay within the South African setup instead of trying to go for England?
No, I don't think, we'll use your phrase, people thought they had cocked up because I hadn't played international cricket. I mean,
But how? Because you were making a hell of a lot of runs in county cricket. We were seeing this thing going there. What is the status? And then we find out, no, you're going to be qualifying to play for England. And suddenly then everyone was, I mean, how can we let him go?
Yeah, look, I mean, it is what it is. It's turned out to be the best decision that I could have ever made because, goodness, I played for Natal or Natal B with players that were a lot better than me, and I mean, yeah, they doing normal jobs, day-to-day jobs, and yeah, it's just a case of me going and pursuing a dream, and goodness, man, dreams come true because this has been a fascinating journey.
Do you ever sit sometimes and wonder if that hadn't happened, or if someone had recognised what could be coming, and you had stayed here?
Absolutely.
Do you sit and sort of put yourself in that current side and go, me at 5 with Cullis the other side of me, and Amla and throw Trot in there as well if they'd kind of looked after him a bit here as well?
Yeah, it was mentioned last night, but no, I don't think it's the way to look at things. I think we just got to look at ourselves and the journeys and paths that we all take in our lives, and goodness, there's some very interesting careers that happen. There's a lot of South Africans who've made it a real big success of business, of sport, of media, of everything, and in lots of different parts of the world.
All right, on the cricketing note, we had, and I don't know if you heard this. I think I tweeted about it after we had Graham Pollock here. One of the greatest, if not the greatest batsman ever.
Yeah.
For a good hour last year. This time, I think it was about a year ago, Simon. And in and amongst the chat and talking about the isolation years and blah blah in cricket this time, this is what he had to say about the question I asked him. Listen, who's the player you like to watch bat most at the moment? I've actually written a name down here. I was like, let's see, I'm playing a bit of Graham Pollock Lotto here.
I enjoy Kevin Pietersen.
What did I just write on the top of my page?
Kevin Pietersen.
There, KP.
I just think, people tend to see batting as not getting out, and I think that's a wrong perspective. Not getting out is obviously a part of batting, but taking the game to the bowlers, turning it around, being positive, putting the bowler under pressure, and that's always been my philosophy. And you know what you get turned out from the bowlers when they're under pressure.
More boundary balls.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was just going to say because, and I've said, there we go, that was Graham Pollock chatting here.
Flattering.
Eh?
Was that the day after that 149 heading leg in South Africa?
No, I don't think it was actually, but he came out with it without any hesitation. I mean, and when you're growing up as a kid, moments like that where you've got one of the legends of the game who says, no, it's not just the fact of how good you are, but he enjoys watching you. Because, I mean, for me, Graham Pollock was the guy.
Absolutely.
I didn't want him to go out, even if he was playing for a side that was playing against the Mean Machine in those days, before he was playing for them.
Yeah.
Just to watch him bat was such a pleasure.
Yeah. I mean, that's flattering. No, he was an absolute superstar, wasn't he? So that's very kind, and I didn't know that. I didn't hear about it. But look, I just go out and play. I go out and enjoy myself. One of my beliefs is to train as hard as possible, and then enjoy game day. Because when I go to game day, I know that I've done everything possible to succeed. For me to be able to succeed, and if it's my day, it's going to be my day, and I'm going to play my way, and I'm not going to stop playing my way. You obviously get more responsibility the longer your career goes, and batting at 4 in the current Test lineup, you've got to be a lot more responsible than when I started at 6 in 2005. So you use the responsibility and you guide it in a positive fashion, but you also, just like Graham alluded to there, you want to make sure you put pressure on the bowlers. You don't want a bowler to sit there and think, right, I'm just going to bowl to him. Shane Warne said to me the other day, we did an interview for Sky, and he said, what is it about us spinners? Why do you just slog us? And I think it's a pure case of, it's not slogging, but it's I don't want you to be able to just settle in and just bang out a length and just spin the ball and do what you need to do. I'll come at you first ball, and I did in the Ashes to Nathan Lyon. First ball, I ran down at Durham, whatever, tried to whack him out the ground. You just got to put that little bit, and you'll know, Harrow, if a guy comes and runs at you, you're thinking at the back of your own, oh, goodness me. And the captain's going, what do I do here?
That knock you played in India, where it was ragging square, it was recent.
Mumbai, yeah.
That was one of the best I've seen. I watched Lara hit spinners at the ground for years, and that was a serious innings. And you played shots there that I think that you're the only one who could play them, to be honest. I mean, you were slog sweeping guys at the rough there for 6, and that was, I think you got 180.
Yeah.
And it was just an unbelievable knock. I mean, I couldn't believe it watching you. Three of the best spinners in the world ragging it square. Everyone else looking like plebs, and you were smacking it up the ground.
Yeah,
so,
you see what you see, and then you just go out and enjoy it, don't you?
your most memorable innings?
Yeah, this is quite a strange one. I mean, there's Colombo last year when I got 150 or 140 or whatever it was. I mean, that was one of the knocks of having toured Sri Lanka a couple of times, and the heat. I mean, I sweat. I'm sweating in here, and it's what 15, 16 degrees. My hands are clammy.
We're trying to make it as London as possible. Yeah.
I'm off soon.
And John Walland is very close to you.
It was 45 degrees, 100% humidity. You'll know who's been, Harris, you've been to Sri Lanka. You walk out of the dressing room and you're wearing your Oakleys or whatever your sunglasses you want, and your glasses condense straight away. So you've got to take your glasses off immediately. And I walked over to the nets. It's about 50 yards from the dressing rooms to the net. I'd gone through a pair of gloves. I went through 9 pairs of gloves in a session and a half in that innings, and it was one of the things that I thought I'd never be able to do. I never thought I'd be able to bat for a session in Sri Lanka, but just purely because of the heat. So that one there is right up there.
They're in Chennai. Chennai's also on the border. It's on the border of Sri Lanka. That place is also ridiculous.
Chennai in the IPL. When we play in the IPL, you warm up in the dressing room. You just go and do what you need to do.
And then get out there and play.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
It's too hot.
And you obviously your first big one against South Africa must have, from emotionally, I think it must have been one of the big ones for you, surely, because you were under so much, getting so much flack from the crowd.
Yeah.
It must have been a hell of a difficult circumstance to bat under as well.
Greg Blur told me something in 2000 when he was there overseas at Nottingham and stood me in real good stead throughout the career. Just watch the ball. When you're focused on that ball when the bowler's running up to deliver the ball, I'm sorry, us blokes can't do two things at once. You're watching that ball, you're thinking about the ball, and it sort of clears your mind of all the nonsense. And when I think one of the hardest things was walking out at the bull ring in Joburg in 2004 or 2005, whenever that was. And that was pretty tough, man. We fielded first. I copped an absolute bucket load. Vaughan, as soon as the 15 overs were up, Vaughan chucked me down to a sweep on the boundary. Nice. Brother, I have never heard expletives like that in my life before.
You probably did that for entertainment value. So let's see what happens.
That's what he said, yeah. I said, it's funny for you, Mike. And then I had to go and bat. And I mean, he was brilliant when I walked out to go and bat. He was batting at the time. He was a pretty good calming influence. But yeah, it was difficult. I probably didn't help myself with some of the nonsense that I said. But look, man, it's all part of growing up.
Let's leave the cricket. Time has flown here, and I know you got to leave. Your transport has apparently arrived. So we've got 2 surprises before you go. So on your way out, we want you to pop downstairs with us quickly. Okay. Don't get nervous. Don't get nervous. We like having fun, but not that much fun.
See John on his phone, yeah? What the hell is happening?
I'd love to get a photo of you, Kevin.
And you're taking with you.
At least it's not a number.
Because this is the last time we actually work in the studio.
Wow.
We've been going for a year and a half now, and we've actually got a brand new studio suite downstairs.
Oh, brilliant.
And a nice big, we used to have a board outside that every guest that came in signed there, which we gave away at our Wings of Change Golf Day. We want to go downside and ask you if you will sign a massive Kevin Pietersen as the first person to open our studio.
Absolutely.
Will
no
you do
problem.
that?
Goodness,
and then
yeah.
after that, we've got another surprise for you when you're on your way out.
Okay.
I hope you haven't got too many bags, though.
Has the helicopter landed?
It's not a helicopter, but it probably will go as fast. Let's hope the traffic clears. So what we'll do is you'll quickly update news, do your traffic and your sports headlines. Then we're going to talk about Nina Pasadena very quickly. So if you can give us another 5 minutes or
No
so,
problem.
KP.
No
Right.
problem.
Right, so it's Ballz Visual Radio at Mix 93.8 FM. A very special afternoon this afternoon. Lots of tweets coming through as well. We're not going to go through them because everyone's copied KP. It's at KP24, by the way, if you want to send a tweet and you want to copy him as well. I'm sure he'll enjoy his drive to his next destination reading some of your tweets this afternoon. Yeah,
if they're good ones.
No, they actually, I mean, most of the people are saying, like Ryan Cinema saying, slowly changing my opinion on KP. And there have been a lot of tweets like that of people that obviously, once again, pick up a headline and then make a sort of almost an impression about who you are and what you're about. Yeah,
the mother of all, aren't they?
So anyway, you can read those in the car.
That's outstanding.
That's awesome. I can't wait. As big as you can.
We're on this wall.
Yeah.
I've only known KP.
There we go. Officially opened.
Wicked.
Thanks, Kate.
Great pleasure. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Keep in touch.
This is Ballz Visual Radio. Darren, Simon, Kate and John. Weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central African Time. Ballz.co.za